Hey gang, today's guest is Bubby Lewis, and he has a new album out called Hero Dynasty. You can pick it up at bubbylewis.com, or you can stream it on Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, anywhere you stream your music. bubbylewis.com, bubbylewis.com. This episode is also brought to you by Moded, embroidered apparel and accessories. Moded.com has my Wu-Tang patches. I love these Wu-Tang patches. They have Wu-Tang patches with your favorite sports team in it. They have blood in, blood out pins. They got hats with Wu-Tang on it. They got new stuff all the time, new designs. They also do custom work. Go to moded.com and get yours today. Moded, hella moded. MODEDHELLA Now on with the show.
Brush.
Hey gang, welcome back to another episode of the We Speak English Good podcast. As you heard by that hard opening there, that Bubby Lewis, or Robert Bubby Lewis, is on the show today. I am beyond excited to talk to Bubby Lewis. I've been following Bubby's career since he started with Snoop Dogg. I actually played with a family member of his a long time ago in San Diego, so there's this weird connection that sort of allowed me to follow his career to where he is now. And then it was just an honor to just chat with him. I mean, he's an amazing bass player. He's played with Snoop Dogg, Lupe Fiasco, and he's currently playing with Jhené Aiko. He's doing J-pop stuff, which is amazing. He loves Japanese culture. Anyways, you're gonna hear all about that in the talk, in the discussion. That's coming up real soon. But first, let's take care of some business. Go to moded.com for all your embroidery needs. I don't think all of them, but most of them. You can get awesome patches like Bart Simpson with the David Bowie lightning thing on his face, or you can find pins that is from Blood In, Blood Out, and they have hats and new stuff all the time. Moded.com, MODEDHELLA Get into it. Also go to RainaMystique.com and check out the new album 1018. I had the honor of penning a few of the songs alongside my beautiful wife, Raina Mystique. We really love this album, and we think you'll like it too. RainaMystique.com, RainaMystique.com. You can go to wespeakenglishgood.com and stay up to date with everything We Speak English Good. It's newly redesigned. It's not that new anymore. You know what? It's redesigned, but not newly. So just go there and check it out. It's fun. We're updating it all the time. You can follow us on Instagram at We Speak English Good, or on Facebook by the same moniker. You can rate us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, or Spotify, because we're on Spotify now. You can also write the show at wespeakenglishgood@gmail.com. And write the show. Raina is dancing in front of me, bothering me. I only know she's only doing it so I can address it. I'm trying to do this intro, and she's dancing in front of me, so it's very distracting. Anyways, you know what? That's enough of this shit. Let's get into Bubby Lewis, guys. Robert Bubby Lewis, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know you had meetings and stuff today, and you're a busy guy. So I wanted to jump in and just ask you about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
Oh man, my childhood. I grew up in Flint, Michigan, man.
All right. Yeah, I always thought that you grew up in Detroit. And I recently found out it was Flint, but not because but it was only because I was talking to a Detroit player. He's and he's in the church circuit up there. I was like, and I was like, Robert Lewis is from Detroit, right? He's like, no, he's from Flint.
Yeah.
And you still got you still got mad love out in Flint, man. Because I actually play in Flint quite often, and when I talk to musicians, yeah, I do. I'm in Toledo, Ohio, and me and my wife.
Man, 4 hours away from where I live, man.
Yeah.
I used to drive down Toledo all the time, man.
Was it to perform or is it just for fun?
Well, my oldest brother's wife her family is from Toledo, so we used to go down that way all the time.
Oh, okay, cool. Heck yeah, man. Well, there you go. It's small world.
Oh yeah.
So Flint, growing up in Flint, what was your experience growing up in Flint?
I mean, Flint is a very small, very, very small place, and this is pre the water crisis too. When I grew up there, like this was, back when we still used to drink water out of the hose and stuff like that. But I mean, I love Flint, man. That's my home. It's nothing there, but I mean, if you put it in comparison to like living in Los Angeles, it's definitely night and day. But I mean, Flint is special, man. It's my home, man. So I miss it. I still got some homies and some family there now, but yeah, it was cool. I'm a church kid. My father was a pastor, so I'm a PK.
Oh, okay.
Just grew up, going to church.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't care about music when I was a kid. I just was all about like Ninja Turtles and anime and video games.
Which like
church, like that was
which
it.
which is pretty normal for a kid, right? Pretty normal that you be into that kind of stuff. So do you have a lineage of music in your family that like from Flint?
Well, so here's the thing. I'm the youngest of 5.
Okay.
I have 2 older brothers and then an older sister and then another older sister. So me and the sister that's closest to my age, we didn't do any music, but my oldest brother and then my older sister, they're musicians. Bonita Lewis, Kubi Lewis. And my brother, Kubi, played bass, guitar, and organ, keys. My sister plays drums, a little bit of keys and stuff like that. They, produce music and stuff. Now I got some other cousins, Nissan and Rapture Stewart. One of my other cousins that I just recently met plays for like the Spinners and the Temptations and the Dramatics. But I didn't care about music growing up. I really didn't. I liked it. I liked listening to it. But as far as like, I wasn't one of those kids that started playing bass at like 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no prodigy.
That definitely was not me. Nah, man. I just eating and anime and video games and cartoons and comic books and more eating. Like we sound like we had a similar Midwest upbringing. Just sort of in front of the TV. You go to church and just smashing for me personally, I was like 320 in high schow. So that was like that didn't stop until actually I moved out to California. I was big for a long time, man. And so you were a big kid too. Oh yeah, I've always been big, man. At 10 years old, I wouldn't be surprised if I was like, I don't know. I could have been like 200 and some pounds, probably at 10. I was a big kid, man. I was really, really big.
Were you able to sort of hold your own with that, or did you? And I'm not trying to turn this into therapy or anything. I'm just like,
this is good.
Were you okay?
Stuff.
Were you bullied for it, or were you?
I mean, I was one of those type of kids. Like, yeah, I got bullied for it, but like where I grew, like the friends I grew up with at school, like if you got bullied, you kind of just fired back. Like if people joked about you, you just had to come up with jokes about them. You know what I'm saying? So it ended up kind of just becoming like the guy that picked on you end up becoming friends with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never really had bullies like that. Like maybe 2 bullies and I whooped both of their tail. I whooped both they butt
That's
real
awesome.
bad.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's similar to me too. I had a couple kids who tried to get over on me, and I just
Yeah.
bust them up real quick, and then we're homies.
Yeah. And then you cool.
But yeah, like exactly right. It was sort of like I know some kids don't have that instinct to sort of brush
Yeah.
things off and like make a joke out of
Yeah.
it. But like I was fortunate enough to have a family who had a sense of humor, and I was able to sort
Yeah.
of deflect it and throw it back at people,
Right.
and it allowed me to sort of it just showed that that you're not just your weight,
Yeah,
that
you just
you're
gotta
a
have
human
tough
being.
skin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And do you feel like that prepared you for like, because I mean you live an extreme life. I mean, I would say
Yeah.
if you talking about a factory worker out of Flint and then Robert Bubby Lewis, you know those are
Right.
two very different lives. And so
Oh yeah.
and I know what I mean I still tour and stuff myself, so I know I know what kind of life that is. Do you think
Yeah.
that having weight and being able to have tough skin, do you think that paid off any as you grew into?
Actually, yeah, man, it did. I mean, I got to thank my father, because my father was a big guy too, but he always, he looked nice. He dressed nice.
Mm.
He carried himself. I guess the thing is if it's anybody out there struggling with it, is how you overcome it more so is what you believe about yourself, like how you carry yourself, like, because there's skinny people that have insecurities and have low self-esteem. There's people that are like athletic, but it has more to do with you, I guess. And so, I feel like it definitely helped me with going into the music industry, because you hear some things and you experience things that hurt, but if you got some tough skin, like, I don't necessarily have to, like, live and die based off of what this person says about me or whatever they do. You just kind of just move on.
Yeah, you learn to sort of just brush this off and know that like this is not me. This is not just like this person is just in their own lane over there.
Exactly,
And,
they're just saying what they want to say, and it's like you don't even have to associate yourself with people that. My wife was just saying earlier today, if you have to make somebody like you, then they're not it. They ain't it for you.
yeah.
So that goes for fat, skinny, whatever. Just if people don't like you, it's cool. You'll come across people that do.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was interesting when you were saying that like that skinny people can be insecure too. I mean, I know gorgeous people, men and women, whatever. Beautiful people who are very, very insecure about their looks, but they're
here, man.
And they could be told every day that they're gorgeous and all this adulation, but they still don't, they don't have
they don't see it.
Yeah, they don't see it, and I still struggle with that too. I mean, like, because you're thin now, and you lost the weight. Is like, do you still have? Because me personally, I still will be like on bad days, or if I ate poorly the night before, I'll still look at the mirror and be like, oh God, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's our mind playing tricks on us.
Yeah. I still have that like fat guy mentality, but like
Me too.
It's weird. It's a weird thing, and it's almost the same thing where it's like people will tell you, it's like, oh, you look good, you look great, blah blah blah. Then,
yeah.
But like, you gotta,
and you don't feel that way.
Yeah. But,
I mean, that still happens to me too, but I guess the only reason why I don't trip off of it is because it's like, well, I'm married, so I'm not trying to pick nobody up. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
And if I'm walking down the street and somebody's like, "Ew, he looks sloppy," it's like, well, I don't want you no way. I already got a woman. You know what I'm saying? So,
how awful of a human being to do that.
Right.
But no, in that hypothetical, exactly. It's like who gives a shit? Like I'm married, like I have a kid.
I'm married.
It's like I'm well beyond.
Married. I got a daughter.
Caring. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be married 11 years in October. Like I don't care if a woman looks at me and says, "Ew," like I'm not looking at you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's just a gargoyle. Like I don't care, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. So with
Yeah.
so then you're at home eating and playing video games. You did you start playing through the church? Did you like it? Was it something that was kind of pushed on you, or did you kind of have? I mean,
I didn't want to play bass at first.
mm,
I wanted to play. I wanted to follow after my sister and play drums.
mm,
But I suck at drums. Like I can't. I can't get like how people. You got drummers like Chris Coleman, who's from Saginaw, or Darryl Jones or whoever. He's from Detroit. I'm naming people that's like from close to home, but they're doing one thing with their left, one thing with their right, and then their feet are doing two different things. I just can't do that.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you with that.
I can't do it. Like, so I admire drummers that's why I'm fascinated by drummers that like can play licks and chops, because that's hard. It's hard enough to like play a pocket,
Yeah.
and just play a groove. But I'm so fascinated by drummers that will sit up there and solo for hours, because it's like, man, you're able to do all this stuff, all these polyrhythms on each different limb and not get confused. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, drums were kind of first. I went out, my sister told me to get some Dave Weckl records. I got really inspired by Tom Kennedy on a bass solo he took on the Synergy album, on the Synergy song, track number 7, I'll never forget. And that made me kind of do more research, in the bass. And then I came across John Patitucci, and once that happened, it was over. I made up my mind I wanted to play bass. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you were interested in music, kind of, but you
Like
you wanted
I like to, I like music. I like listening to music.
Right.
I've always had synesthesia and all that kind of stuff. And, I just didn't really know what it was until I started researching more about it. But I didn't care about playing an instrument.
Wait a
I
second.
thought it was boring.
What did you say? Synesthesia?
Synesthesia, yeah, like the colors thing. You know how some people, they'll like associate numbers and letters or music with colors.
Oh, okay. I've heard of I've heard of that condition. I don't know if that's a condition. I'm sorry if I don't mean to insult.
I mean, no. I used to think I didn't used to tell people about it, because I thought it was like, I thought people, like growing up with a friend, I thought they'd be like, oh man, you're retarded or something like that.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
all it is just like, it's like a heightened sense and like a more intricate imagination, basically. But the thing about synesthesia and even perfect pitch, they're not superpowers. Like now, today, people feel like it's a superpower if you got perfect pitch or if you have synesthesia. But the truth is, anybody can get it. It's just perfect pitch is memory and synesthesia is imagination. It's simple. Like I tell people all the time, if you're trying to work on getting, relative pitch or something like that, it literally is just memory. If you have a favorite song and you know how to play that song, and let's say the song is in C, okay, if you really love that song, you can remember how those notes sound. You know what I'm saying? So
right, yeah.
Remember that. And like, so, like, for example, I'm sitting outside in the car right now, and they're doing construction at this school across the street, and the saw is going, it's like wavering from down to B flat all the way up to like D. It's just wavering. Like, but I mean, I've played so many songs in these keys and heard so many songs in these keys. So when I hear that noise, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's B flat. Okay, that's A or whatever,
Yeah, totally. No,
it's simple, man.
Well, yeah, my garage door when it opens is the opening line for All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
So, that's my garage door.
Hilarious.
but
yeah.
Okay. I've totally heard of this thing. I don't know what you call it, but I've heard of synesthesia before, and I didn't know the name that put it to that. So you had this since you're young, and so you already had a propensity towards it. It's just you had to mine it. So how did you end up on bass then? I mean, you weren't good at drums, and then you're just like, oh, I guess. Yeah. You said
I guess once I heard Patitucci, I was like, oh man, that sounds dope. So, and like when I first started playing bass, I didn't even want to play grooves or songs. I just wanted to be able to solo.
Oh yeah.
Like I was so fascinated by how like chord changes would go by and Patitucci would solo over these chord changes. I was like, man, that's sweet. And then when I got a hold of Alan Holdsworth and Frank Gambale, two crazy guitar players, rest in peace, Alan Holdsworth, I was like, all right, yeah, I want to be able to do that because, you know, Alan Holdsworth, he'll have a song that has like 50 chord changes and he'll just lightning fast blaze over every chord like it's nothing. And that was intriguing to me. So that's what I wanted more than anything. And, you know, obviously I had to learn how to groove and stuff like that to play at church, but I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to figure out like, what can this instrument do? You know, that especially if people say it's not supposed to do it, I want to do that. You know, that was my whole mindset. I want to figure out what this thing can do, you know, in spite of what everybody says it's supposed to do, you know?
Hell yeah, that's dope. I love that. I love that when people attack things like that, where it's just like, you're not going to tell me I can't because I know that I am going to do that.
Exactly, man. It's like years ago, you know, in the South, it was one thing for somebody to put like chocolate on bacon, but, you know, and all the rest of the world is like, oh, chocolate and bacon just don't go. But now it's like, oh yeah, no, this is a real thing. Or make a cheeseburger using donuts as the bun. Like that's a Southern thing. But now it's like, oh no, this is an actual thing. And it's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So.
And sort of, I feel like adding on to that, you gotta do it sort of to the fullest. If you're gonna commit to that shit, because chocolate covered bacon, I'll be the first to admit, I'll be like, nah, I'm not doing. I'm not doing it. But then
if you're gonna do it, you gotta go all in for sure.
Gotta go all in, man.
Chicken and waffles. You know, pancake syrup and spaghetti. Yeah, you got to go all in.
Oh man, pancake. Okay, that one's a little beyond me. I'm gonna say that, but I would try it because I'm an eater. I like food. It's delightful.
I do too.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take it from you because you're a former fat. Because like, because like I listen to people who enjoy food. You can't be listening to like skinny ass people who are like, oh yeah, it's really good.
People don't have a clue.
They don't know.
Skinny people, unless they're skinny and they could hang with me at a Korean barbecue, I ain't listening to them. But believe me, brother, I've tried some very interesting things, man. Like I used to put cereal in my ice cream, like. Oh man, I used to do all kinds of
cereal and ice cream makes a lot of sense. Actually, I do that, like Fruity Pebbles on something. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Or either like I'm talking like Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Reese's. With like chocolate and cookie dough ice cream. You know, like put a spoon of peanut butter in there, blend it all together. Like that's. I used to do stuff like that, and people would be like, it just takes so much preparation. Yeah, but when you taste it, it's all worth it.
But have you tried it?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I can't eat like that anymore, but boy, oh boy, man.
Dude, I missed it. I'm seriously sweating from talking about it.
Me too.
I'm sitting here sweating.
Me too, man.
Thinking about this peanut butter.
Me too, dude.
Oh my god, that is delightful.
Incredible.
So then you took to the bass rather well. Obviously, you took to the bass rather well, and so what? How were you? Were you just primarily a church player when you were first cutting your teeth, or did you start spreading out to?
Definitely, just all church.
All church. Okay, so
all church, and yep.
So then, how far did you take it? Did you go and learn? Like, were you trained? Did you take lessons? I know.
Nope.
No.
I just the thing like in the time that I grew up, where I come from, it wasn't like common for somebody like me to be able to go to a music school. Like, it was just, play at church and learn everything you can in church and just listen to a lot of music. Like, that's where I come from in that day and age, back in the early 2000s, that's what it was. This is before YouTube and all of that. So,
YouTube players, my goodness.
Yeah. And I mean, they're fortunate though. Like,
right.
I definitely, I can't bash them, because heck, yeah, I mean, if we had that growing up, we would have did the same thing.
Exactly.
But like, I couldn't just log on to the computer and be like, yeah, what's a melodic minor and what is that? I just had to just learn it by listening. And then years down the line, somebody told me like, oh man, you played a so-and-so. And I was like, a what? And everybody still to this day, they're like, man, how did you learn all this stuff without knowing the name? Just listen. That's all I could do.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, fortunately, gospel music, a lot of the gospel music that I was listening to was so, I mean, some of the stuff is like giant steps times 1,000. You know, like it's
it's
million
complicated.
chord changes. It's some complicated stuff out there. So that just kind of, man, it made everything else kind of easy, man.
Yeah, no, I can, like, I always, because I talk to a lot of kids who come from the church, and my experience with it, I had like a couple months where I was playing with a Baptist church here in Toledo before I moved out to San Diego. And it was like boot camp. That's why I always refer to it. It's like boot camp. I had I thought I knew what I was doing until I walked into that church and had my ass handed to me. And it was over. Yeah. It was over. And I couldn't even hear the chord change. Like, I didn't even know they were changing chords. I'm like, what are you going? Are you going to a D major or minor? And like, it's like, no, it's like a slash chord, maybe.
It's a major minor.
Exactly. It's a major minor.
And a lot of times the church guys don't even know how to explain it.
Exactly. And that was my case, because like everybody was super high level players, but like couldn't tell you one thing about what they were doing. And that and that can be a trap, which I've seen that be a trap for some players. And then but anything can be a trap. It's not just gospel.
I mean, I'll tell everybody, like, I'm a guy that started out learning by ear, but if you can get to where you learn some fundamentals of theory, it will let you know what it is that you're actually doing. Like once I moved to LA, I was like, all right, man, let me figure out what exactly it is that I'm doing. And then when I started studying, more music outside of the Western theoretical stuff, I realized like, oh, okay, so every place in the world basically has their own music theory, so I learned that, okay, so Western theory is not just everything. Western theory is just mainstream. That's what is commercially successful. Indian theory or Carnatic and conical and all that kind of stuff, they have their own theory per each region of India. And a lot of it has nothing to do with Western theory, but I realized like I can't discriminate against that just because it's not, when I turn on the radio, I don't hear a Bollywood song. Like, I'll just hear Taylor Swift or some junk like that. I can't discriminate against that because of that reason,
Yeah, totally.
So,
I
recommend everybody, like, because it can be a crutch, man. If somebody says, play a D minor and you're like, I don't know what that is, you might be able to play it, but you don't know what to do. That can be a crutch. And then I've seen it where it's a crutch for the guys that can only play if they have charts in front of their face. They can't play by ear and stuff like that. Either way, like you said, it definitely can be
absolutely, yeah. And on the other side of the spectrum, you got like, these classically trained players who have, they're very astute when it comes to reading.
Really strict.
But like once you step out of that realm and like you go to improv or, improv like jazz or whatever it is.
This is wrong.
Yeah, you see the you see the struggle kick in.
That's the reason why still the jazz and the classical guys hate each other to this day. It's 100-year-long feud.
It just doesn't. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So okay. So then, and throughout church, you were in high school. Like, what other things were you into besides playing bass?
Eating and drawing and watching anime and playing Marvel vs. Capcom and Power Stone. My childhood, man, was really really simplified. Comic books and superheroes. That was pretty much it for me in high school.
So did you have much of a social life? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I was cool. I had a lot of homies, but I definitely was like that. I was like that cool, nerdy kid, but at a time when it wasn't cool yet to be a nerd. Like now it's the thing if you're into Marvel and into, superhero movies and stuff, you collect. Yeah. Now it's like, oh yeah, you're cool. But back when I was growing up, it's like
that wasn't that cool at all.
If you told a girl that you like had action figures, they'd be like, oh, you're a weirdo.
Oh, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Who was your guy? Who was your comic book?
Well, I mean, I love both Marvel and DC. I'm probably slightly more of a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Because I love the Hulk and I love Sentry and I love characters that like not a lot of people probably even know about. Like I love the Runner. I love the In-Betweener. Of course I love Spider-Man and stuff. in DC side, Batman, Aquaman. I freaking love Aquaman, even though people make fun of him. They don't realize how dope he is. He can teleport, for crying out loud. Like they don't show that stuff in the cartoons. In the comic books they do though. Like he has whooped Superman many times. But I like pretty much everybody, man.
Yeah, my guys, because I started with Superman as a kid. I collected Superman, and then back when and then what was it? Marvel versus DC. I got like super heavy into that.
The crossovers. Oh yeah. Man.
And then the what ifs. I always love the what ifs. The what ifs.
Marvel what ifs. I love them.
Oh my god, those are awesome.
Yes.
Oh yeah, nerding out here. So then, okay, so high school. Did you end up going to any college at all, or did you just go straight out to LA? How did that work?
Funny story. So I was actually because I loved the whole video game and nerd life. When I got out of high school, I went to work. I worked at Lowe's I got a job at Lowe's because I wanted to get a bass, my second MTD bass, a fretless. So I went and got a job at Lowe's so I could save the money to pay for it. And so I worked there for about a year, maybe close to a year. And then finally I decided, well, why don't I maybe go to school for something? So I decided to go to school for video game art design. But the catch was this. It was at a school out here in California. And so, long story short, I called when I saw the commercial come on TV, and I signed up. I had my own little representative that worked with me personally. Me and my buddy signed up, and I moved out here. I drove out here from Michigan, picked my buddy up from Ohio, and when we got here, we went to the school, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm here to meet." I think her name was Susan. Yeah. I was like, I'm here to meet Susan, so I can get my stuff situated so I can start school, And they was like, we don't have a Susan that works here. And I was like, no, you got to. I kept calling this number. I said, this is you guys' number, right? And they was like, no. And I was like, well, maybe you got my name on file. Gave them my name and all that kind of stuff. And this is after I paid for my application fees and all that, right? Oh my God. Come to find out, I got caught up in a scam.
Whoa!
That was happening for a short time. It was like these technology schools and video game schools that somebody had like basically took the commercials and was intercepting the phone calls from people that wanted to go and just taking their money.
What the
Yeah.
hell is that?
Yeah, it was like some supernatural crazy stuff, man.
Whoa.
So I got caught up in that. So I drove all the way out here, and I mean, I had been speaking to this lady for months.
Oh my God.
For months. And when I finally got out here, I was like, yeah, so I'm in California. And she said, great, just come meet me on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, she had you covered.
I was like, yeah, like I was like, cool. So I went, me and my buddy went on Wednesday. We got us a little apartment out here. Didn't have no money. We got a studio apartment in Sherman Oaks, California. And when I went up there, they was like, we don't have anybody by the name of so-and-so and this. And I was like, wow.
Holy
so I was
hell.
here. I just had to, I had to stay basically. And I just, got some little jobs while I was here in the beginning. Worked at Costco and, a couple places.
So you were grinding it out like, and then all. So what was the? I mean, so what made you? I'm just curious that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you were very playing at a high level when you were going to California, like from Michigan to California. I'm just curious why you. And I didn't want to say rejected music, but I was just curious why you were like, why music wasn't the top there, or like,
well,
you know what I mean? Like,
I had like dreams. I did have dreams and hopes of doing it, but here's the thing. When I was younger, there were certain people in my ear that was like trying to tell me, and this is all, preference to the type of person you are, but in the beginning, there was people that was like, well, you may not be able to get anything because you play a 6-string and, the way I'm able to play, like being able to play not just bass lines, but the fact that I could play chords and the fact that I could solo, there was a lot of people that was like, well, nobody wants anybody that can do that. And, I'm the type of guy I was listening to. Yeah, just because I'm a black dude that grew up in church, I would be driving down the street listening to some punk rock or country music or bluegrass or mariachi music. And at that time, it was not cool to do that. It was just like, people was like, oh yeah, you're not in with the cool kids. You listen to rock music,
Right.
So I kind of had to deal with that. And that just kind of made me say, well, let me just find some regular work. And then if the opportunity ever comes, then great. So once I started getting little jobs out here, I was miserable because I did want to play bass. And then finally, when I started pursuing it, that's when I really got hit hard with people like, just dogging me out. Like, you're too fat, or you're, you got a 6-string and it's, what kind of bass is this? And I'll be like, it's an MTD. And well, what is that? And I'll be looking at them like, this is a boutique bass. Like, do you realize, what you're saying right now? You just need to get a standard so-and-so bass or what. And it's like, okay, my bass is worth the amount you could put this on a down payment for a house, and you're telling me I'm wrong for having this bass and to go get one from Walmart. You want me to go get, in other words, you want me to go get a $1,200 bass, and I'm walking around here with a $9,000 bass, like a Bugatti, and you're, you know what I'm saying? But this is one of those times in, the millennial era where you had to look the part, and you had to, if you played a cheap bass or if you had a cheap keyboard and you got up there and was killing, that's what people admired, instead of you having like, in other words, there's nothing wrong with a Ford Focus, but if you drove up in a Bugatti, people were looking at you like you were stupid.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. Wow.
Now it's the thing. Now it's the thing. Like, oh man, he's got a Bugatti. Now it's a thing. This was a rough time.
It's so interesting because I feel like whatever it was, there's this shit. Well, I'm sure it's the internet, but like now there is this huge appreciation for talent and for like you're saying, like having a beautiful instrument and being able to play it beautifully. And do you? This might sound a
It's
little.
the internet, man.
You think it's mostly the internet, right? Yeah, it has
It's
to
the
be.
internet.
It has to be YouTube
I
and
feel
all
like
that.
it's just social media, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you were a prodigy, and I mean that's what everybody said about me when I started playing bass. They was, man, you pick things up so fast, and it took me like. I remember when I was listening to a Patitucci record, and somebody walked up on me and was like, you should listen to some easier stuff. Because you may not be able to do this stuff ever in your life. It may take you 30 years to be able to play one thing that John Patitucci does, and this is like a few weeks into me playing bass. And I looked at the person and I was like, nah, I'll be able to get it. And 3 or 4 months later, like a few months later, I'm soloing and playing chords, and everybody's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is what I wanted to do, but I got dogged out for that though. And it was just at that time, nowadays, if you see some kid that can just shred, it's like, oh yeah, viral, and everybody's like saying how happy they are. But the truth is, I don't believe everybody that says they're happy for the next generation.
Yeah. No, well, I know there was a point where I was. Well, no, I remember coming up because what you're saying is like some people just have like this huge propensity towards it, like super athletes, like people who are playing in the NFL. Like those people grew up, they did it, and like they just had a natural gift that just accelerated them above the rest because the world's not fair. Because it's not fair. This is not.
It just happens, man.
And so you're able to just hear it and see it in your head in a weird way that's I'm sorry to call you weird, but like in a way that you can see it and apply it and be very focused with it. Whereas like someone like me, it's like I had a natural ability for it, but like I didn't have that. I don't feel like I have that level of even commitment, even because I love playing music and I love practicing and stuff, but like I just, it's not in me to be like, and plus I'm a multi-instrumentalist, which makes things a little bit more complicated, especially spreading time with practice and stuff. But anyways, no, I
you know what it is though, bro?
Yeah.
You know what it is? What I realize, the older I get and the more things I see, there's every human on the earth has a supernatural gift. Everyone in some area, they just may not discover it. Like for example, okay, I know I can play the bass. And there may be other bass players, maybe they're not able to do what I can do, but maybe they're just really good at business, or maybe they're just really good at counting. It may be something crazy, like maybe they're really good at decorating. Like I got a cousin that's a musician, and he's a producer. He made so many dope beats. He's got so many platinum records and stuff like that. But he's phenomenal at interior decoration. How random is that?
That is right. Is this Nissan or Rapture?
It's Rapture. Like
Rapture.
he just has an eye. I mean, he just has an eye for it. He just has an eye for it.
That's crazy.
And I mean, you're talking about the guy that made Aaliyah rock the boat.
Right.
I mean, but it's like, of course, he still has his gift for making music and playing music, but I realize like everybody has something. It's just I can't discover what that something is for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Of course not. Yeah. No, and
so,
it's and it's crazy. Some people just never even get a chance to discover.
They never even get the opportunity.
I absolutely agree with you. It's almost something, and I'm not trying to turn anybody off by saying divine, but I feel like there is some sort of divine purpose within every soul that if they can find it and they can really work at it, like they can be the best or whatever it is, they can do it to the fullest.
They could be the best them.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And we get caught up in our jobs at Lowe's, and we get caught up in our office.
And we get caught up in competition.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I do believe it's divine, man. I think that God gives everybody something. And if we just spend some time trying to figure it out, for crying out loud, I used to draw. I thought that was going to be my career. I thought that I was going to either be an artist and be making drawing video game characters, or I would have got a job as a artist for Marvel. This is what I thought when I was a kid. Or either I thought I was going to be a veterinarian or some junk like that, or either a chef. I can't even draw anymore like that. Like, it would take me so long to get the skill back like how I used to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can cook. I can cook like a mug, though. I can definitely cook. So that ain't going to do it.
For sure.
I can cook.
Yes,
but,
yes.
It's just, I realized, like, okay, the bass is it for me. And not playing bass like anybody else. I just do it the way I feel I should do it, and what makes me happy. I got dogged out so many times. I still do. Like, people are like, this guy plays chords on the bass. Bass is not supposed to play chords. And for me, it's like, well, there's some frets here, and I like the way it sounds, so I'm going to do it. You can talk about me as much as you want to, but I don't care.
Well, I love that approach you did with that song you did with Janae Aiko on your album. Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, but like that's
Missing Love.
Yep. That's you playing chords, and it sounds so beautiful, and it falls right perfectly into Janae's voice, and like it's like so. Is it? Can we play that song so people can check it out?
You can play anything you want to, man. Anything.
All right. Well, do you mind introducing the song?
Yeah. So the song "Missing Love," dedicated to my parents that passed away from cancer, featuring Janae Aiko.
Like yesterday. I miss you. I love you. Oh, I miss you. I love you. Been so long since you went away. I know you couldn't stay.
back. Wow, that was a very profound thing you just said before we threw to a song.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But I just recently had my aunt. Actually, last week she just passed away from lymphoma. And
Sorry to hear that,
man, it's a horrible disease, man. So I'm
is.
sorry for your loss as well. You lost both of your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man.
Yep.
That's rough.
My father first to colon cancer, and my mother a couple years later to pancreatic cancer.
How old were you when this all happened?
So my dad passed away. I was 19.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 19, and then when my mother passed away, it was 2017. I was 31.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah. It's strange losing your parents when you're young. Because I lost my father a few years ago too. I was like 26, and so like it was it's just like you feel like you get, especially when you have your own children, is what I've noticed is the hard part, where it's just like, wow, your grandfather would have just, just thought you were the shit, like, cause
absolutely, man.
Oh my God. I'm getting teary-eyed. I'm sorry. I'm getting
Oh,
emotional.
no, I get it, man. I look at my daughter every day, and I just think to myself, like, she does little stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll just say to my wife, I'll just blurt it out without even realizing it. Like, man, my mother would have loved her. My father would have been cracking her, but.
Yes. And then you see, it's pieces of them in them, right? Like,
yep.
Like, I see pieces of my father and my son all the time, my mother.
All the time.
It's so crazy. It's like it just travels through genetics and something else.
Yeah.
So you
right.
So then what was the tipping point, or what was the jumping off point for you to be like, hey, I'm going whole hog into being a bass player? While you're out in LA, you got duped, you're working, you're trying to figure things out, and you're not liking what's going on. So what was the launching pad for you and getting back into and really getting into bass? Because at this point you've only been playing in the church. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'd only been playing for, 5, 6 years.
Oh my God.
5 years at the time. Yes, I'd only been playing bass for about 5 years.
This is why I used to be really jealous when I was younger of like kids like you. It was kids like you who were just like, hell no, I'm over here really putting in hours, and this dude's just walking right out of the stage. But obviously that feeling is just that is such a dead end to pursue, like being jealous of people for being great. It's like that is such a silly endeavor. But I'm long past that shit. But so 5 years into play bass, you're in LA, you're not liking what's going on. What was it? What made you, what got you back into, and especially secular music, right? Non-secular. Secular.
Secular, yeah. Well, and it's funny you mention that, because in the beginning I didn't want to do anything outside of gospel, because I didn't really know what to expect out there. And what I realized is, even if you take, I don't want to get super deep into scripture and stuff, but Jesus didn't preach to the people that were already followers of him. What's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you cooking a meal for somebody that already ate. Like they're full already. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're me, that's a different story. But
never full.
Like I'm never full. But on that same thing, like, so I realized, well, if I can be an example, or not even necessarily just trying to preach to people all the time, but if I can encourage somebody, it will be much better if I'm encouraging the person that's maybe struggling in their mind or in their life. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily have the type of comfort that I know I have because of my faith in God. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I realized that, I was like, dude, like, everybody needs help, whether you're in church or not. So, and then too, like, to go into the side of like what made me kind of want to give this thing a go. Give it a go, mate. What made me want to give it a go? Get back. What made me want to do that was I had a lot of talks with Andrew Boucher, man. He kind of, ever since I met him in my first NAMM show, he kind of took me under his wing, and he was like, if you ever move out here, reach out to me. When I came out here, I would go to his house. Like some days, man, I wouldn't even have any money, and I would have like a couple bucks for gas, but I would just feel the need to listen to him because, I mean, that dude has experienced so much. And I would just put some gas in my car and be like, well, I'm going to go to his house, listen to him talk, come home, and then, just sit at home because I would be in between jobs, so I wouldn't have nowhere to go. And then I'd play at church, get some little money, and be straight, But finally, like, he had some talks with me, and I was like, man, I really want to play. And he would be like, well, how come you're not working with this person or this person or this person? And, at the time, these people just did not want to fool with me because I had some 6-string basses and because I was a nerd and because this is all true. It was, the reasonings was because I'm a nerd, number one, because I don't smoke and drink, because I'm too much of a church boy. Goody two shoes is what they call me. He don't be trying to have a good time. Like I just don't drink. I love to have a good time, but I just don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm like the epitome of a square, like, and people really, they frowned, like they looked at me sideways for that. And then, oh, he listens to country music. Oh yeah, he wouldn't be able to handle himself. He wouldn't make it out here. So there were people that was actually trying to prevent me at any means necessary, of the opportunity to get in this industry. So there was guys going around LA saying, don't hire him to play, not even at church. Like, don't call him for any gigs. He's too much of a square. Oh man,
Wow.
Some of the stuff that got back to me was so hurtful, and it was people that was really close to me.
Wow.
Like it was people that I thought that, was really cool with me, but Boucher was just one of those guys. He was like, man, don't listen to that stuff. Like, they talk about me playing a 6-string, and I grew up in an era where all there was a 4-string. And he said, I play a 6-string because we didn't have the opportunity to back then. And he said, if we had it back in the day, I would have played it back then.
Yeah.
And he just was like, you just got to stay who you are and don't change for nobody, man. And he said, and what ended up happening is, you'll get your opportunity, and as long as you stay who you are, people will respect that. And so I just was like, well, all right. And I came to a fork in the road, man, where like I was about to give up and I was going to quit, man, and even trying. And then I said, well, if it happens, it happens. And then finally one day he called me on a Sunday afternoon, man. It was like around 2-something p.m. I went to my girlfriend's church before we got married. This was years before we got married. And, well, not that long, 2 years. But I went to see her after I got out of my service, and Boucher called me and was like, hey, man, what's going on with you? I got, he was telling me about this jam that he got. And I was like, yeah, I'll come through, man. And he said, who you playing with now? And I was like, nobody. And he got furious.
Oh.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, I don't have no gig. And he said, how do you not have a gig? How long have you been out here? And I was like, oh, about a year and a year and 4 or 5 months. And he just started going crazy. Like, man, you mean to tell me you ain't done nothing? I was like, nah. So, and he started naming all these people, like, you ain't worked with so-and-so and so. And I was like, no. And he said, why not? And I said, well, according to what I've heard, they don't like me. And he said, why? And I said, well, because they said I'm too fat and because I play a 6-string and because I don't do drugs and stuff. And he was furious. So he was like, man, let me call you back. And about 48 minutes later, he calls me back. And as soon as I answer, I said, yeah, what's up? He said, yeah, man, I got you on Snoop's gig. And I was like, huh? And he said, I got you on Snoop's gig. They're going to call you. He said, I called my boy, and they're going to call you. The gig is yours.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I don't get it. Do I have to audition? He said, no. The gig is yours. That's it. And I was just like, wow. I mean, but we don't call Boucher the Godfather for nothing. Like, if that dude calls you and tells you something, you better do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So whoever, it just is what it is, man. But Gooch put me on, and they called me a few months later and was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Oh, well, where are we going?" And they was like, "We going to Europe. Do you have your passport?" Didn't even have the money to get my passport, and I didn't know that they were going to Europe. So I missed that tour. That was the tour that Snoop got jumped in London Heathrow Airport by the police, by Interpol.
Oh, dang, I remember that.
Yeah. Thundercat was actually out there for that.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay.
But
Nice.
he was doing suicidal tendencies as well. So,
that's so awesome about that guy.
I know. Cat is funny, man. I've known that dude for years. But, yeah, so a few months later after that, they called me. Cat was out doing suicidal tendencies, and that was it.
That was that.
That was it.
So, how old were you at this point?
I had literally just turned 21.
Oh, my God.
When they called me the first time, I was 20. When they called me the second time, I was like a month in. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you're 21, and see, I just like knowing me at 21 and being in that position. I know I would have flushed away because I was the exact opposite of that. I was like drinking and carousing, and I was calling myself. I was pretending like I was a musician, but really I was just an alcoholic ruining people's gigs. So that's not how it worked. So I can't imagine what kind of like mind trip that is. Like what is that? Like how? I mean, because like you're going from nothing, like you're not playing gigs, you're just working, shitty jobs that you don't like, and all of a sudden you're stepping onto a stage like you're doing probably amphitheaters and shit. Like what?
Dude, it was amphitheaters and superdomes, and stadiums, and
exactly,
private jets. And it was girls everywhere, and I had never seen alcohol before. I had never seen weed or drugs before. Obviously with Snoop, it's just weed. Like that whole camp, they don't fool with nothing else but weed.
That's great.
He is like the ambassador of weed. But I had never even seen what it looked like. When the first time I saw it, I thought it was like Brussels sprouts or something. I didn't know what I didn't know what that junk was, man.
No, I got you. That wasn't the life you were living.
Yeah, I mean, like no shade. Yeah, do your thing.
Man,
but I just didn't know what it was.
New. Yeah, no, that wasn't
new.
That's all.
I walked in the dressing room one after one show, and there was this big old mountain of it on the table, and I was like, "What is it? Broccoli?" I didn't know what it. And I walked over to it. Mind you, I'm a kid from Flint. Like, we didn't have that stuff.
Right, it's all Mexican dirtweed, which you don't know what that looks like either, but...
Exactly. It was like some Reggie in Flint.
Right, okay, there you go. You know the lingo.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. I know all about the Reggie and that Michael, that you got that Carl. I know all about that junk. Bad weed. Or Seth. Right. Stress. I know about all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Walked in the dressing room, and I was like, is this... and it was a huge mountain, dude, like a foot tall. And I was like, is this broccoli or Brussels sprouts? And I got closer to it, and I was like, is this some kind of, and I looked like some of it looked like kind of like green with different colors, like browns and stuff in it. And I was like, is this okra? Like, I just didn't know what it was. I just didn't know, man. And I smelt it, and I was like, wait a minute, is this weed? And then they came in there and started rolling it up. And I was like, oh, this is weed. Okay. And they started smoking it, and I was like, oh, it doesn't smell bad.
Yeah, it's
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it, man. So
how did that camp receive you? Was there a lot of roasting, or was it just like, whatever?
Nah. I mean, they honestly, man, Goucher was so right, man. If you just truly who you are, then the people that are really in this industry and that are really doing it and making the moves, they're the ones that will respect you. But the guys that are faking it and just trying to act like they're making moves, putting up their flashy picture, trying to make it seem like they're balling and stuff, those are the guys that always have something to say. But with Snoop and them, man, I kid you not, one day, like, we had been out on the road for about a week and a half, and I'm a nerd. I brought my Nintendo DS with me. So what I was doing was, after the show, I would go to the dressing room, and Snoop would either get KFC chicken. This is in Europe. He only trusted KFC, McDonald's, or pizza. So I would grab like 2 buckets of chicken and just go back to my room and play video games and watch cartoons on whatever foreign channel. This is what I was doing.
Yeah.
So one day, Uncle Rio, Snoop's uncle, calls my room and said, "Bubby, where you at, man? You can come on down here to the room." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm cool, Uncle Rio." He said, No. Snoop said he feel a little strange, man. Like you don't want to talk to nobody. Come on to the room now. I got chicken and this catfish and everything here. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely coming.
I'm on my way."
So, I was on my way. So I went to his room, and they were sitting. It was like this round table, big round table in his suite, and they were all circled around it. And so there was a seat next to Snoop, and I just sat down next to him, and he gave me dap. He said, "Glad you finally came around, nephew. You good? Don't worry, we ain't gonna bite." And they were just making jokes, and he was like, "You always welcome to come to my room. Like, this is what we do, nephew. We come here, we eat, we play video games, we smoke, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then the blunts, they were just rolling up blunts and passing them around. So the blunt got to me. He was passing it to me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm cool, man." And he was like, "You don't smoke, nephew?" And I was like, "Nah." And he looked at me, and he said, "That's good, nephew. Keep it like that. More from me." And he hit it a second time before he passed it. And ever since then, they just, like, nobody said nothing. They were just like, "Nah, you don't smoke. You don't drink." That's incredible. It was cool. They didn't look at me no other kind of way or nothing like that. They didn't bully me, or like, it wasn't no kind of peer pressure. It was just like, dude, if you don't smoke, it's all good.
You brought up a really good point. People like the real players, like the real people who are doing making real moves, they generally don't have time to put people down or talk shit, because they're busy making moves. They're doing shit.
They're doing stuff.
And while you're over here talking all that shit, you're over here passing the blunt, get Snoop Dogg is like trying to pass you a blunt, and that's fine. I think that's a great piece of advice to people. It's like, just watch out for people who talk a lot of shit, because they're probably just not people who you want to talk about or hang out with or associate with. Even if they're just talking about other people, especially to, like, I don't like, it makes me uncomfortable when people are just like, "Oh man, did you see him? He sucks," and blah blah blah.
I'll leave the room, man. I'll leave the room when I hear that stuff.
Yeah, it's a very uncomfortable thing that I don't appreciate, and I just don't. I
don't like it.
And it's like, and I'm not saying I don't talk shit, but like, my shit talk is very light, and sometimes.
It's one thing if you're doing it in like a comical way,
right.
About one of the homies, like, "Yeah, so and so got his so and so," and then when he walks in, y'all are laughing like, "Yeah, we heard it." He's like, "Oh, come on, guys," like, that's one thing, but. When you're actually literally like spreading stuff about folks, that's whack.
No, it's horrible.
And another thing, the guys that are doing all of that talking, those are the guys that's trying to do everything they can do to fit in.
Yes.
Like those are the guys that actually don't like smoking, but they started doing it just because they wanted, the artist to think they was cool. And the truth is, the artist doesn't care.
Yeah. More for me, nephew.
Doesn't care, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, more for me. Snoop was like, "All right, cool." He was on some, like, "I ain't never got to give you none."
Yeah, and that's it.
So
you were with Snoop for a long time, weren't you? For a good amount of time.
Yeah. Basically, up from 2007 to, like, the last time I played with him was 2017, before I went to Japan for about a year.
Oh wow! What was that for?
That was with some J-pop artists.
Oh, okay. Who was the artist?
Their name was Exile the Second. They're like a huge J-pop, like a boy band. It's only 2 singers and then 4 dancers.
Oh, well, that must have been a treat for someone who loves anime so much.
Oh man, it was marvelous, dude. I mean, and like, so the tour was basically it was like 9 months, but it was only 32 shows spread out over 9 months. So
Oh, wow.
I was like, me and my wife and my daughter, we were out there in Japan chilling, like
Wow.
chilling.
That's awesome. You got to take your whole family with you.
Yep, had them there, man.
That sounds
Yep.
amazing. So what was what so was that your first time to Japan when you toured it?
Not that time. My first time there was back in 2012 with this other J-pop artist. Her name is Ai. She's actually the person I was in Japan with last week.
Oh, okay,
Or the week
yeah. I
before,
saw those.
rather.
I saw those soloing videos that you put up. Those are
Yeah.
amazing. I just could throw that
Yeah,
out there.
just making weird faces.
Yeah, making weird faces.
faces.
You're like, I'm not the only one making weird faces. Okay,
Definitely
back
not.
up.
But I embrace it though. I embrace it. It is what it is.
Yeah, because that's just a natural reaction to whatever you're channeling. That's just what my face is doing, bro. I can't help that.
Oh yeah, I can't help it, man. Can't help it.
Okay,
Can't help it, man.
okay, so I know you work with Lupe, and you know, by the way,
Yep.
at this time, I was working with one of your cousins in San Diego. Not throughout this whole time, but like,
Really?
yeah, your cousin Herschel Avery.
Oh, Hirsch. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was working with him, and he's actually the one who told me about you. And so I've been kind of following your career like since the start, and I didn't realize at the time that you were just walking straight from the church straight onto Snoop Dogg's tour, because that's
literally
that's interesting. That's very interesting. So that during that time, I was out in San Diego and I was playing with Michelle. So I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Oh yeah, Herschel, man, he's an old buddy, man. I love that dude.
That's crazy.
So where were we? We were okay. So I know that you played with Lupe Fiasco. What can you talk a little bit about that experience?
That was dope because Lou is from Chicago, so it was like some Midwest connection.
There you go.
You know, vibes there. Very cool. And Lou is like really big into anime as well and martial arts as well. So we immediately hit it off. Like when I found out, like, you know, I had listened to his music before I started playing with him, but when I found out that he was into Street Fighter and martial arts, like Lupe, like physically himself knows pretty much every form of martial arts. Like he can do it.
Dang.
Yeah. Like he's been training for years. Still to this day, he trains in like Bushido, and he just was in China not long ago redoing his Shaolin training. So northern, eastern, southern, western Shaolin.
Wow.
That means like, you know, crane, bear, monkey, cat, tiger, snake style, you know, spider style, toad style. He knows all of that crap. All of it.
That's incredible. Like what is it? How does
so
he have
awesome.
the time to do that? Like how is that?
It's you know, I guess like from childhood, because his father was a master. His father was a master in a bunch of different stuff. So he learned under his father and I guess some of his father's friends, and they just taught him as, you know, growing up as he was a kid, and he became this prodigy rapper. But still to this day, he still trains. Like this dude puts up videos on Instagram, and he's training his kendo and kempo and bushido. Like it's. And he has the full on like the hakama and everything and he has the samurai sword. Like it's legit serious.
Oh man, now I'm gonna have to go follow Lupe Fiasco.
Oh yeah, Lou is a beast.
That's what I gotta do now.
He's a genius, but he's a nerd too. Like one of my birthdays, this cat bought me a Jedi bathrobe, and I was just like, Lou, you get me. Like you understand how joyful I am right now that you got me a Jedi robe. Like I'm very happy. You know, like
very happy.
Lou gets it. He gets it, man. He gets it.
So what?
Yeah,
so how long were you? How long were you playing with Lupe? How long did that?
Lupe. So it was one point where I was toggling Lupe and Snoop for like 3 years straight. I started playing with Lupe in 2008.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, I still was playing with Snoop full time, but every now and then, like if I could do a Lupe gig, I would do it. And then in 2011, 2011 is when I started playing with him full time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I played with him so basically from 2008 to like 2000. I think we did our last show together in like 2014 or something like that. Yeah, so it was a good little chunk of time that I worked with him. I still keep in touch with him though. Lou is cool. He's always been good people.
Oh, that's very nice. When did you start shedding the weight? I was curious about that.
So let me see. 2014, I did that one show with Lupe when I got back from Japan. And then it was more of like a reunion show because he hadn't used a band in a while.
Oh,
it was like some festival. He was doing the DJ thing. And then I feel like, at the end of 2014, that's when I met Janae Aiko.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I started playing with her.
Oh, nice. And
yeah,
I know Janae Aiko just recently sort of starting to have traction. Well, not starting. She's obviously she has she is. But so
she got major hits.
When dude, that Triggered song is so my wife is super into Janae Aiko, so like I get to hear her a lot. But it's But back to the weight thing real quick. What was some of the things that you were kind of doing? Like what was the decision to like, or was there a decision? Like what kind of got you into
triggered me losing the weight?
Yes.
All right, so the weight thing. 2008 in Denmark on tour with Snoop, getting ready for a show. Took a shower, putting on my socks. My heart starts beating really crazy. My body got all stiff. I started sweating a lot, breathing hard, trying to breathe, actually. I was trying to breathe. I wasn't really sure what was going on. I guess I was getting ready to have a heart attack or something.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. So I was 22. And
oh, my God.
At that point, I realized, like, I'm 22 years old, and I'm in a foreign country in a beautiful place. Denmark is so nice, and I'm about to have a heart attack and die, basically. So, long story short, I definitely started praying, and I was like, Lord, don't let me leave here like this. Like, I had just proposed to who's now my wife. I had just proposed to her. I was like, man, dude, like, I want to get married. I want to have a family. Like, like.
Yeah, totally.
And so everything had kind of cooled down for me, and I was able to catch my breath. And I just was like, all right, so I'm going to stop eating crazy. So I said, what I'm going to do is, since I'm too big basically to feel comfortable exercising, I'm just start jumping around on stage like crazy. So that night I jumped around a lot. And remember, I said Snoop always gets either chicken from KFC or McDonald's nuggets or pizza. So I said, okay, well, maybe I'll do the Atkins diet. So if he does pizza, I'll just grab like 3 boxes of pizza and rip the meat and cheese off.
There you go.
If he does KFC, take the buckets. I'm not going to eat no macaroni and no mashed potatoes and stuff. I'll just eat chicken and I'm going to drink water. McDonald's, I'll just take the meat out the bun or, eat some nuggets or whatever, no fries. So this was my game plan while we were in Europe. I still had like 3 weeks left in Europe. And so I did that, and I just started losing weight. I lost like 11 pounds the first week, and I was still eating fried chicken, just wasn't eating all the other stuff.
Right.
Drinking a lot of water, jumping around on stage. Every blue moon, I would because I knew the greasy food was probably not the best thing, better than me eating cake and brownies and crap like I was previously doing. But, it was a start. Drinking water, and I would eat some fruit every now and then just to kind of cleanse myself. And, so that's the reason why I started the diet. And it took me like a year and 7 months to lose about 200 pounds.
Wow.
So that's basically what
really
I did.
Quick.
Yeah.
Wow. So
it just fell off quick, man.
Yeah. Well, it happened for me too, the same way. It was like right when I went out to San Diego, like, and there's something about I feel like there's something about like the West Coast that like you go out there and it
Oh,
just
yeah.
comes off easier or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's the sunshine.
Maybe because it's nice and you go out and you walk. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, and it's part of the culture out, especially in Southern
Yeah.
California. It's just part of the health is a huge part of the culture there. So it's
Yeah.
and it's like I try to explain that moving back to the Midwest. I try to explain it because here in the Midwest they hand you a piece of cake on the way in. So like it's
Yep, they do.
it's all like heavy cream and bread. So like
The Midwest is like the South. It's that Southern hospitality vibe. Like everybody wants you to eat. They want to make sure you get like so full that you can't walk. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
sure.
breathe. You got to unbuckle your pants.
Yeah, they want that.
They do, and then somehow they're insulted when you don't. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
it's a very strange
yeah.
thing. But I get it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Midwest breeds some hardy folk. For like 6
Yeah.
months out of the year, the environment is literally trying to freeze you to death. So it's like you gotta,
Yep.
you do gotta weigh your options when it
You
comes.
gotta
to that.
eat a bunch of
Gotta eat.
hot chicken and you gotta eat a bunch of fatty, milky soup and stuff. Oh yeah, man.
Oh, but that's been the biggest challenge coming back here is because we just got a Whole Foods here in Toledo like this month.
Oh yeah.
So, like that's what we're dealing with here. But it's been that was the biggest challenge, man. I came back and started gaining weight, but I got that under control there. But what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good. No, yeah, I totally get it, man. I mean, where I come from, everything was already organic. So to come out here and see that they were doing like, you could choose between the steroid chicken or the organic chicken. It's like, what the heck? It just don't have steroids, but now, I mean, they're kind of feeding us that junk everywhere, all around the United States.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
beautiful.
no, I absolutely agree with you. They even when it says organic, it's like that's not really what it means anymore.
It's not true, man.
Yeah,
it's not true.
It's horrible, and it's crazy when you find out in other countries that like these certain chemicals. Yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal.
It's across the border, man. In Canada, like they don't. Dude, McDonald's up there is phenomenal.
Oh my God! Now I
it
want to eat
tastes
some.
so good, man. Its nuggets are so good. A burger tastes so good in Canada, but like certain chemicals and dyes and steroids and stuff, it's totally illegal everywhere else except for here. And don't even get me started on Japan, man. Like they've never heard of salmonella before.
Salmonella?
They've never heard of that. They've never heard of mad cow disease. They've never heard of that stuff before. Like, okay, for example, if you eat a raw egg here, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be hospitalized. You might even die because it has some kind of bacteria in it. Dude, in Japan, that is a raw egg goes with everything.
Yeah.
It's not just sushi in Japan. People think sushi fish. Dude, they eat everything raw. You could eat raw. I've had raw chicken. I've had raw whale meat. My favorite is raw horse. I definitely have ate a million pieces of raw beef, raw pork. I mean, everything you can eat raw over there. Everything.
You gave me goosebumps because I just was sitting here thinking of eating raw pork, and I'm just like, I couldn't imagine it, but it must be delicious.
The taste of a fine cut raw shoulder of a pork is unbelievable.
Dude, I'm taking your word for it. I believe you. I believe you. And I'm going to try it now because Bubby Lewis told me, because I know that deep down inside Bubby Lewis is a little fat kid who grew up loving food.
Bro,
I'm with you.
That's the best thing about my diet. Like, because I just eat so much meat and vegetables now, like high protein diet, basically, now they call it the keto, but it's practically what I've been doing the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So this is something that you maintained for these years.
Yep. All these years, man.
Wow,
and I mean, I didn't break my diet until last year. Like, I was on my diet 9 years before I actually treated myself.
Wow, what was the treat?
When I went out to Japan, so before my mother passed away, she was like, Bubby, just all these years she's been like, Bubby, just try something. Her and my wife. And I was like, oh, no, okay, well, I'll do it on my birthday. And then my birthday rolled around, and I still wouldn't do it. And then finally, my mother was like, Bubby, just please for me. I just want to see that you tried something because it's been so long. And I was trying to make it to 10 years, but 9 was good enough. And my wife was like, please for me. So when I went back out to Japan in 2017, dude, I had everything. Like, my first thing that I ate from breaking my diet was a Krispy Kreme donut.
Oh.
Dude, I was in rehearsal, and the artists bought a couple boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts, and they were like limited edition Halloween donuts. So, bro, I took one bite, and my buddy Bam, the guy that was playing drums, he filmed it. I took one bite, man, and tears started rolling down my face, man. God. Like, it, because I'll never forget how good Krispy Kreme is, but to have it in Japan where they don't put the poison sugar in there, like it's real natural sugar, but it still had like that Krispy Kreme vibe to it, dude. Tears were just falling all down my face, man.
That's a really beautiful moment.
Oh, bro, I cried, man, and I ate like 4 donuts, and I just was crying, dude, just crying tears. And I sent a video to my mom, and she was so happy. Then I had like some ramen, I had cereal, I started eating Danishes. So out in Japan, I ended up gaining like 50 pounds probably while I was out there.
Right on. So you're like, this is
like
it.
Like I started picking up weight, like, because my shirt started getting really tight, and I was wearing like a size 30, 31 pants, and I was like, dude, why is 32 feeling so tight? And I looked at myself, and my neck was all fat, and my back was all fat. I looked all puffy, and I was like, all right. So when I came home, I was like, let me get this back under control. So now I'm back down. But yeah, it was worth it though, man. I ain't gonna lie. That jump was phenomenal.
I absolutely agree with you, and I still get. Well, I've tried the keto diet for like, I did it for about a year and a half, but like I just couldn't keep doing it. Like, it kind of started getting gross for me. But but like now I still am like low carb, higher protein and vegetables and fruit. Like I do eat fruit and a lot, but I try to keep the carbs down and the sugar. Like, I just can't have cake in the fucking house. It's just, there's no way I can have. I don't buy it. Like, it does. If it comes into the house, it's getting eaten, and then and then it's over. But when you're talking about like binging, because like I feel like that's addict shit. Like because that's food addiction, and I do have addiction. Like, probably, like, I had to quit drinking alcohol, so it was like so like for me, abstinence is the best way to do it, and so like it seems like it's the same for you. It's like, it's just keep it away. Just keep it.
Yeah, like and the thing now. Like, all those years, I got to a place to where, I could, what I used to do to satisfy myself, I would smell it in some kind of way that was able to satisfy me. Like, people would bring cake around me, and they'll be like, oh, man, Bubby,
dude,
don't cheat on your diet. And I had built up this discipline where it's like, cool, just let me smell it. And I would take a couple of whiffs of it. I'd take a couple of whiffs, man, and I feel like I ate it. And I'd be like, cool, I'm good. Take me to Korean barbecue. I'm going to eat a bunch of meat. I'm straight.
Dude.
So, that's my thing now, man.
Same thing. I'll be putting my nose... okay. Thank you.
I'll snort the crap out of that junk, man. I, like, just recently, somebody had... What was it? It was like a Danish or something with, like, a cheesecake Danish. Oh, my gosh. And it had like the honey glaze on it. Oh my goodness! And I was just like, but I was like, let me smell it. I took like a couple of huge bumps of that junk. Man, took a couple huge bumps, and then I was like, all right, I'm good. Let's go get some chicken.
Let's go get some chicken. Is it? Yeah. When I first quit drinking alcohol, I was doing the same thing with like with good whiskey and stuff. I bet. Oh, okay, I'm good. Okay, let's move on now.
You sound like Mike Tobias. That's Mike Tobias. They love the freaking whiskey and bourbon, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, No, I gotta say, I was looking at those basses, man, and your signature series. My God, it's so beautiful, and
Oh,
man,
thanks, man.
and that's like, like if you're a serious bass player, like that is like, I don't know, I would think that
That's sought after.
yeah, I would say that would be like the the Bugatti, right? It's the Bugatti, right? Would you say your signature
man.
series is the Bugatti of basses?
I mean, yeah. When I was growing up,
they're
like where I
beautiful.
come from, we didn't have boutique basses in Flint.
Mm.
Like it was one store in Detroit that had like Tobias's and Ken Smith's, maybe one Federa.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so, yeah, like when I finally like got my hands on the MTD, I was like, oh my goodness, I get it now. I get it why like people will save up for years to get a bass like this. You know what I'm saying? And and like, I'm so grateful for Mike and Dan Tobias, man, because like I'm a crack addict for them joints, man. Like I'm trying to get a bass every year if I can,
Yeah, man. It's amazing, man. Like, what? So you started playing with Janae, and then at some point you started releasing your own music. When did you decide that you want? Because I started listening to some of your back catalog as well as Hero Dynasty. That's right, correct? It's Hero Dynasty.
Yeah,
that's
Hero
the new
Dynasty
one.
is the new one.
It's available right
Adventure
now,
Quest was the
which is
first one.
pretty
Yep.
awesome. I have to say, like that first song
man.
is like walking into Sonic fucking world, dude.
It's definitely Sonic the Hedgehog
Dude,
slash mariachi music.
oh, dude, and so like, and for somebody who likes to get nerdy, like this is the perfect kind of music.
Oh,
can,
yeah.
can we play that song? Do you mind playing that song?
Sure,
Terrible with names.
absolutely.
If you could introduce it for me or for us.
Game of Life featuring Brandon Coleman and Joe Otis.
Game of life.
And we're back. So what made you want to start doing your own music, especially as someone who's a session player, who's a hired gun? What triggered you to want to start doing your own thing?
Well, I finally got to a point to where I thought to myself it would be really cool if I could, because I like the anime and because I like, film score stuff and video games, it would be really cool if I could make songs about it and play it and perform it. So, I just had to kind of get over that courage hump, and just say, all right, I'm going to do it. And then I put my first record out, Adventures in Quest. My having my daughter definitely inspired me to go ahead and finish that. And that came out in 2017. And then this second record, it's like once I put the first one out, I was like, man, I can't stop. So I made the Hero Dynasty album. And I mean, this album has only been out since July 19th. And I'm already I literally just started the other day listening to some stuff that I want to do for the next album. So,
oh, nice. So
yeah, man, you just gotta courage. That's what made me do it. Just having the courage to try.
Yeah, and so what is your problem? Because the songs, I mean, they all sound like Bubby Lewis, but they do fluctuate in style and sound, and there's lots of different changes. Yeah, exactly. How do you begin an album like that? And because I'm just curious, it's because it's so far beyond me. I'm just like, oh, this is incredible.
Honestly, man, it's honestly what it is you just got to do it how you hear it.
Yeah.
If you hear something that makes you feel good in your imagination, and you have to think first to yourself, do I actually like this? And you have to not concern yourself with the idea of maybe other people will think this is whack. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to throw that out the door. You have to like it first, because what makes a true artist is when you give people you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're the music that you're making is a part of who you are and what inspires you and what you like. If you take let me just throw a random group out there, Bon Iver, right? Okay, mm-hmm. When they first came out, you had some people what the heck is this? It's like a bunch of sound effects, and they're ooh, making, people were making fun of it.
Yeah.
But then people was like, man, this junk is actually really sweet, because that is who Bon Iver is. That is Bon Iver. Like, it's just different. It's something different, and it's who they are. So, you know, I say that to anybody out there. Like, if you're in between on, you know, when it comes to songs, what you should put on your record and stuff, if you don't really like it, don't do it. If you're not really feeling it, don't do it, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to put your music out there and you want to be totally happy with what you did. So, yeah, like for me, I know that, you know, because of the way I played, there was a lot of people. I was just telling somebody else that there was a lot of people that were assuming, oh, yeah, Bubby, I bet he's going to have a sick Jocko style record or a Stanley Clark. And I'm like, nah, not at all. Actually. Like,
you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, you're going to be so upset then. I mean, and no shade to Jocko or
no.
I don't want to do that. Like,
no, exactly. It's been
heroes.
done.
Yeah.
Why
like
do that same thing over again?
If they've already done it, like, and there's a million guys that are right now trying to be Jocko and stuff like that. If you feel like fulfilled by that, then go for it. But for me, I'm not happy with that. Like, I don't want to just put out a bass album. Like, I just want to just put out something that feels good to me. So I like pretty much every genre of music. So that's the reason why the album has so much on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you got to be totally happy with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's like if it doesn't feel genuine, then it's not. Then no one else is gonna buy it either.
Nah, and they're not gonna feel that from you. Like, and just imagine, like, if I put out, okay, like, one time somebody said, man, you need to, you know, I know you like to play the way you do, but you need to do a record that's more kind of like Bootsy Collins or Marcus Miller. And I was like, why? So people can be like, man, your album is nice. It sounds just like Marcus Miller. I don't want that.
Yeah.
There's already a Marcus Miller. Like,
right.
And I feel like that's a dishonor to Marcus Miller, because it's like he went out there and did something that was original to who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, why try and rip off of what he's doing? Like, let him do what he's doing and let me figure out what I want to do, you know?
Well, I just by talking to you for this last like hour and a half, like and then thinking back to the album, it's such like it's a perfect match. Like the way you talk, what you talk about, like what you're interested in, like you can hear it in the music, like video games and you know, Japanese culture and like there's like it's all there. It's very interesting. I've never talked. It's never connected so perfectly with any other guest, because like I've talked to a lot of people who you know they'll play music but their personality almost doesn't match that. Like it, but I know what you mean. I totally see it. I totally see where it all meets up for you. Go please.
It's just, no, I was just going to say, and the other thing, like, you know, a lot of the messages that I say and that I have in my songs, you know, if it's something with lyrics, it's not that I'm just trying to be this positive guy, but what that is it's like, you know, I'm constantly trying to keep myself focused. And for me, I don't get anywhere if I pout about stuff. So, writing a song like the song Dream on my album, like that's just about me. Like, you know, I see where I want to go and I just want to just work towards it and get there, you know? So if I can tell somebody my story and if they leave and they're like, man, you know what, I feel inspired, let me try and get my thing going too, then mission accomplished for me. That's what I want, you know?
Yeah, so. For sure. Should we listen to Dream? Should we put that?
Sure, whatever you want.
All right. Well, then we're going to listen to Dream and we'll be right back.
there, no matter how far it's said to be. I'll follow. I'll surely follow my dream. It's worth the risk if I fight. I win. I swear, deep within this ocean of triumphant victory, if I'm gonna live, then I want to live my dream.
And we're back. So, I have a couple questions that are more like rapid fire rather than discussion form. So
Yeah.
So I was by the way, Dynasty Hero is out now. Go get that, pick it up. You can get physical copies. You have a website, correct?
Yep, Bubby, www.bubbylewis.com. Hero Dynasty is on all digital outlets, and I got hard copies and all that kind of stuff there. But yep.
So go get that. I highly suggest it. And Level Up. Was it Level Up? Is that what it's called, or what's the other one?
Oh, One Up.
One Up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Up.
That
same thing. Same thing.
Yeah. No. That was
Same thing.
So go grab that. But so let me see. I'm sorry. I had to open my phone.
No.
I had these questions written down here. So when it comes to practice, I mean, you're obviously highly skilled. How much time do you devote a certain amount of time to practice every day, or is it get in where it fits in, or what is your approach to practice? Because I know that you are an avid practicer, correct? Like you do
somewhat.
Oh, okay.
It's what I realize now, being a parent, is it's not a situation where I can do it as long. Like this is my motto. If I touch my bass every day and just do something, then it's a plus for me. But what it is, it's not. I've learned the older I get, it's not how long I practice, it's what I practice. It's like, for example, you got people that will go to the gym and they'll be there for 4 hours, but then you got a guy that just goes for 1 hour, but they get on the treadmill and they sprint for 30 minutes, like fast sprint, versus just getting on there and jogging for an hour. You're still going to get something done.
Right. No.
It just depends.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
So that
I touch my bass every day, and then too, fortunately, like I'm usually always doing some kind of recording. I'm always shedding in between recording. If I'm on tour, definitely shedding at sound check and stuff like that, like playing as fast as I can so I can keep my fingers in shape and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I do believe in practice.
Yeah, well, you know what? I remember that Herschel, he had, because he was doing a magazine for a little bit, he had it was a long time ago, and you guys did an interview together, and that's where I got that, by the way, because at that time you were still like, I think you were just like, yeah, there's people who think that they don't need to practice, but like,
definitely,
they think that they get so good at something and they let the practice slip, and
impossible.
That's where I was drawing that from. But you're absolutely right. I totally am with you with that, and because once you do have a kid, like sitting there and just
you're not
playing,
able to practice for 10 hours a day.
You have. And was that something that you would do? Would you just sit there for 10 hours at a time, just go into town?
I mean, when I had first started playing bass, like that first year, when I got out of school for summertime in 2001, because I got my bass basically for Christmas of 2000. I didn't really start playing it until the top of the year.
Yeah.
And like that summer, dude, I would just lock myself in the room and I would just shed all day. I didn't even know what to play, but I would just sit down and just practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted endurance and I wanted stamina and stuff like that,
Yeah, totally.
So, but still to this day, man, I mean, if just the other night I had to record some stuff. I was up at 3 a.m. My daughter and my wife was asleep. So when I was done recording, I sat there and I practiced for a minute,
Yeah.
It's like I'm up anyway, and
right.
I know my daughter's going to be getting up for school in a minute, so might as well just get something in, so yeah, still do it every day, anything, something is better than nothing, but you're never too good to not practice. That's impossible.
Yeah, I totally agree. I talked to this cat, which he's in his 60s. His name is Tony Green. He used to be, you know Tony Green, or know of him?
Oh, yeah.
He's a bass player.
Oh, yeah.
Tony, I asked Tony, I was just like, so what do you practice? Because I have a question, which I'm going to ask you, and I guess this is a good segue. what are some bad habits that you're currently trying to overcome, or bad habits that you've overcome in the past? What were they? And I asked that to Tony. He's like, nothing. Nothing. I'm good.
Hilarious.
That's it. That was it. He was like, I'm done. I was like, that's awesome. I mean, he's like, he's done his time. He's still working up in Detroit and stuff. But but he's just like, he just sits in the studio and jams, man. He's just that he's a really cool dude. But
oh yeah.
But so I guess this is a good time to ask you, what are some bad habits that you are currently, or maybe bad habits that you've overcome in the past? I always give my example is like, my bad habits is my left hand on piano is terrible. So I'm constantly trying to work at that and trying to get over the bad habit of just the bad habits that come with not having great two-hand syncopation. So some, I guess, on that line.
Well, I got two. One bad habit is I have to take reading sheet music more serious. I just recently tried to get back into reading. I taught myself how, but it was one of those things where as soon as I kind of figured it out a little bit, I was like, all right, cool. And then I went on tour and didn't need it in the hip hop and R&B industry. Snoop definitely is not like, here's the charts for gin and juice. Like,
right.
That's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
Years of not even thinking about charts, and now if you put charts in front of me, I'm like, and I'm not talking about the cheap charts where they got like the key above the chord, and like the type of chord, so you could just, if it's like an E7, it'll say E7, so I just know, okay, well, yeah, I can play an E. I'm talking about the kind where it's just like
your bass clef is full, yeah.
Yeah, like that's it. Like if you did that and put that in front of me right now, I'm going down in utter flames. So that's a bad habit. That's one right there.
That's one. Well, that's a good thing to tell people too, is that, and that's what I tell people because I'm self-taught as well. Is like, dude, if you could read music, then like you got a really good chance. You're like a step above.
Oh yeah.
Like you got to have the competence to go along with it. But but if you can read well, and especially if you can read well, and you could do the improv stuff, I mean, like you're just that's where you want to be. But
it's a great package to have.
It is a great package to have. And then so what was the other one?
The other one was early on, I used to only listen to like funk and gospel and R&B. Growing up, black kid in Flint, Michigan, I couldn't stand country music and stuff like that, but that all changed for me when I heard this song called Paint Me a Birmingham. By I think it was Tracy Allen. Back in the day, man, and the song made me cry. Wow. It was so beautiful. And ever since then, I just went on this like drug addict spree of just searching for music from all over the world. So that was a habit I'm glad I was able to get out of early on. Because what I realized is there's a lot of cats that are a lot older than me, and they hate on, rock music or punk rock or bluegrass or whatever, but it's only because they didn't give it a chance and they can't play it.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I found in this industry, whether you can play by ear or read or whatever, whether you can do that stuff or not, these people in this industry love a musician that's versatile. Yeah. And if you can be versatile, it's one thing to be able to play at church, but can you go do a banda music gig? Can you play some Indian music? Can you play some jazz? Can you play some smooth jazz? Can you play some straight ahead? It's a difference. Can you play some fusion? It's all different. Bluegrass and country are not the same. The issue in church is a lot of the musicians, if you were to ask a musician right now, not even just church musicians, just musicians, period, if you were to say play some salsa music, they're just going to start playing something Latin. And then I'll be like, okay, but play something Tamboa. They're going to play the same thing. If you say play some bossa nova, they're going to play the exact same thing as they played for the Latin or for the salsa music. Like, it's so many different subgenres of that, and the more we discriminate against it, the more racist it actually becomes to the people that come from those places. You know, like Arabic music is not Indian music. It's so different. Turkish music is not Arabic music. It's they may speak in Arab. They may speak Arabic rather, but Turkish music, it does have elements of Arabic music, but it still has its own little thing because, you know, I'm not going to get into the history and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, like that was one of the main things in my life that I'm glad I didn't fall into that trap of just, oh, this type of music sucks just because I don't listen to it or because I can't do it, you know?
Yeah. People hate what they don't understand. And
that's what Goucher told me. It's so true.
And you know, I think I was watching an interview with you a couple days ago when I was doing a little research before this, and you were talking with somebody about 4-string basses, and then people who were like, it's 4 strings or get the fuck out. Which, by the way, Tony Green is one of those people. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I know. I know he is.
But
I know it.
But what you were saying, I think you essentially said the same thing, is like people just don't understand it or they can't comprehend it. They don't get it, so they don't like it because they can't do it. And that's
they can't do it. That's it.
And like that's such a silly thing. It's just like me hating on kids who are great at a very young age, who just get it, who can comprehend it and can apply it and focus and practice have really focused practice. Me hating on them, well, it's because I couldn't do that because I didn't have that attention span or I didn't have that kind of commitment. Or it's my own deficiencies that you're projecting onto other people, and there's just so much. I mean, there's just so much.
And dude, and it's so much of that. And another example of it is this. Okay, now let's say you don't like 6-string. That's totally fine. But what reason do you see to promote to the rest of the world that anybody that plays a 6-string is a piece of crap? The reason why I say that is this. Here's the example. I don't like mayonnaise, right?
Right.
Okay, so when I go get a burger, I just don't get mayonnaise on it.
Right.
It's as simple as so. Now look at this. It's almost 8 billion people in the world. There are a lot of people that like mayonnaise. So guess what? If you guys want to eat mayonnaise, go ahead. But I don't like mayonnaise, so I'm not going to get it. But I can't be mad at the people that eat mayonnaise. It just, how dumb is that? So for you to be like, oh, well, anything more than 4 or 5 strings isn't a bass anymore at that point. Listen, you don't even realize those same 4 strings are on this 6-string. And I can still play things on my 6-string that you can't because you don't have the frequencies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like in gospel. Like, you can sit up there all day long, 4-string, 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 but I'm sorry, gospel music, you kind of need a 5-string.
You need that low B. You need that low B.
You need that low B.
You need that low B.
You got guys like, exactly.
You
got guys like Goucher that ushered in, him and Joe Smith ushered in tuning down to a low A or low A flat. Whoa. And I'm sorry, it just sounds so good on some of these gospel songs with that low frequency. Mm-hmm. Your 4-string is cool, but, and then too, if in a situation like Janae, her gig required me to play chords. Mm. I'm sorry, but I got to use my 6, or actually, to be totally honest, I have to use my 7.
There it is.
I have to.
You had to. The job calls for it. It calls for it.
The job calls for it. So if you walk up there, oh, 7 strings, not really a bass, well, you can't do this gig. And you're not going to make this money. You're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah, that's
simple as that.
It's simple as that. No, I love that. I love that. It's like because I used to be in that same thing where it's like 4 strings or nothing. But then you like once you start listening to other kinds of music, especially when I was starting to get into gospel and starting to get into R&B and all that, I was like, oh my God, that low B is everything. It's like everything.
it makes
You
the
need-
song those
I
low
mean-
frequencies, man.
And then like I still tour with a reggae band, and that and he plays a 5-string. He's like he needs that low beat.
Dude.
There's just no way he could get past it because those low frequencies
That
in
low
reggae.
B is it.
Yeah, man.
That low B is it, man.
Okay, so we're wrapping up here. But I had a couple more questions, kind of rapid fire. But what is a dream gig that has come true for you?
Dream gig that's come true for me, playing for some J-pop artists for sure.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Okay, what is a dream gig what is still your dream gig? Like what for a future? What would you or what?
Who or what? I would love to get the opportunity to be composing films and video games and anime. I would love to, if they ever did. Man, if I could be a part of a Star Wars film, like, and work with John Williams, or just compose, period, for video games or something, that's for sure one.
Okay. Do you think that you'll pursue that eventually?
Oh, I'm doing it right now, and
amazing.
It's definitely going to come. I don't know when, but it's coming.
That's
I'm
amazing.
not going to stop till I get there.
Love it. What are some of the things you do to warm up before a gig?
Yeah, I eat.
Yeah.
I pray before the show that I do a good job. I thank God for the opportunity to do it, and I grab my bass and maybe just start soloing or playing some chords to get loose, and then go.
Nice. And then what do you pack for tour? Like what are the essentials?
The least amount of clothing as possible, because generally the artists will give us clothes, or I know I'm gonna buy stuff when I get there, especially if I'm going to Japan. I'll just pack some basketball shorts and some sandals and a couple of chill shirts, because I know I'm gonna buy a bunch of stuff. But other than that, as far as tech gear, I take a couple of my pedals, GT1B pedal or my GT1000 or my SY300, or I'll take all three. I take my recording gear so I can have it,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Okay. So wow, that's pretty light. I mean, and then plus your cabs and stuff. But that's not what you're packing. So like your pedal board is small on tour. That I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I don't know. But that's great. I love that. I love the idea that that you know how like somewhere sometime it went from like half stacks and double stacks to like I just need to be able to have this little combo with my bass on my back, and that's it. I'm just walking into the club with this tiny little combo. I love that fact because because lighter is better for me. That's just it. It's just I can't say it. I play a Nord, so like I do not like extra weight. It's like my Nord is what I'm taking with me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I like that. So Bubby, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and especially being so generous with your time.
Problem.
And thanks for working with me through everything, and go out and get Hero Dynasty. Right, Hero Dynasty. I always want to say Dynasty Hero.
Dynasty.
I don't know why Dynasty Hero.
Yeah, well, because Dynasty Warriors, the game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah.
What was that? I'm just curious. The mask.
It was Dynasty Warriors. Oh, the mask.
The mask.
There.
I forgot about that.
Oh
one.
yeah.
But I'm curious.
What's the reason for it? Well, it's a couple things. The first thing is it's actually part of Asian culture. They do it in Japan out of common courtesy because they don't want to give anybody their germs. Not the other way around. Not because they're not trying to get germs. They're not trying to give anyone their germs. And it's a fashion thing.
Oh, tight.
It's a fashion thing out there too. So that's part of the reason
I
why
love it. I thought it made you look like Bane. Like that was tight. Like I was just like, yes, you're out there shredded and you have the mask on and your pants and shit. Like I love it, dude. I love it.
It's a fashion thing for sure. And then too, it's kind of like a anime thing a little bit, to wear the mask. And they do it in Korea because of the pollution from China.
Oh my God.
China does it because of the pollution in China. Yeah, but Japan is it's literally just because it's fashionable and they just don't want to give anybody their germs.
Right on. Well,
Common courtesy.
there it is. It's fashion and courtesy. I love it.
Yep.
Robert
Yep.
Bubby Lewis, thank you so much for your time. Hero Dynasty is out now. Go get that.
Yes,
And
sir.
where are you off to next? What's your next gig?
Well, next thing, I did just right before we got on the call, I got to go do a show with Janae actually in a couple weeks. Then I got to come back home, rehearse for Japan, and go back out to Japan for about 2 months, and I'll probably stay out there till New Year's.
Well, that
So,
sounds like
yep.
quite a New Year's. Well,
Oh, yeah.
Well, right on, man. Well, good luck, safe travels, and again, thank you very, very, very much for coming on and chatting it up with me.
No problem, man. Anytime.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Bubby Lewis. I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, and the fact that you gave us 2 hours of your time is just it's just beautiful. So thank you so much. Go out and pick up Hero Dynasty, Bubby Lewis's new album. It's available now on Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, anywhere you stream your music. You can also go to bubbylewis.com, BUBBYLEWIS.com, and get a hard copy, a CD. And I think he's still signing them. I could be wrong, but I think he's sending out signed copies. So I would suggest go get a hard copy if I were you. Check out our sponsors, Moded. Moded is an embroidery and apparel website. It's actually modedhellamoded.com. You can find all kinds of great designs from the 90s. They got Wu-Tang patches with it's a Wu-Tang patch with your favorite sports team's insignia within the Wu-Tang insignia. So it's like Inception, bro. There's levels to it. You can also get awesome pins like from Blood In, Blood Out, or Your Mom's a Lyft Driver. What? Go to modedhellamoded.com. They're updating it almost every day, and they do accept custom jobs. So modedhellamoded.com, modedhellamoded.com. That's a mouthful, but you know what? That place is awesome. Thank you for sponsoring us. Go check out wespeakenglishgood.com. We are updating that all the time. It's redesigned. Like I said in the intro, it's not new anymore. It's not newly redesigned, but it is redesigned. So go check it out. We update it sometimes. You can rate us on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps. Leave a comment. I'll read them on air sometimes. You can also write the show at wespeakenglishgood@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show. What did you think of this episode? What did you think about Bubby's story about thinking that the big giant mountain of weed in Snoop Dogg's suite was asparagus? I mean, I thought that was hilarious. I was just listening back to it. I was like, oh shit. But you know what? That's awesome that he didn't have those distractions, because especially in the Midwest, you can easily get distracted by just becoming a stoner and get high and do nothing with your life and just bitch about how terrible it is in the Midwest. That's not what Bubby was doing. This motherfucker was like seeing music or and hearing colors and shit, like just being the most. So I love the fact that he didn't know what weed was so much that he thought it was a vegetable, which it is kind of. It is. I've eaten it a lot. You can follow us on Instagram at We Speak English Good, also on Facebook at We Speak English Good. I think that's it. I think we're done here. Oh wait, hold on. I just got a big reminder. ReinaMystique.com, ReinaMystique.com. Go check out 1018. We love that album. I had fun writing the songs with my wife, Raina, and it was just a fun process all the way through. It's recorded all on tape, all analog. You like that, don't you? Analog. Anyways, that's it. That's it for me. Be good to your fellow human beings. HJ's for everybody. And I'll see you guys next week. I think next week is J-Rock out of Phoenix. I think so. I don't know. Yeah, it's whatever. I can't remember right now. Okay, bye.